And welcome to Ask the Experts here on Newstalk 1290 CJBK on this is Saturday afternoon with our real estate expert, Joan from LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan at any time, 519-672-9880, and check out the website, joanball.com. And we welcome Joan to the program. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, Ryan. How are you?
Excellent, thank you. We are going to direct people to your website because you have a wonderful listing there right now, but we'll do that in just a moment. But just a quick recap. We haven't talked in a couple of weeks. When you look back and see what has been happening, Joan, what are we looking at these days in the real estate market? Have we slowed down at all, or is it still pretty rampant?
I am seeing a shift in the market. There's no doubt about it. Couple of things. We have had an increase in the interest rate, 0.5%. So if you're looking at an average mortgage of around $500,000, half point would increase your payments by about $120 per month. So it does have an indication for individuals as far as affordability. But we also had an increase in interest rates just a while ago of 0.25. So 0.25%. So overall, you're looking at an increase in that $500,000 mortgage of about $182 a month. So wow. It will certainly have an impact for individuals. March was certainly a very active month. 94% of sales went over list price by an average of $140,000, just over $140,000. So, that really does make a difference to people. I'm seeing more listings come to offer date, not get offers or not get what the seller certainly wants. So they're canceling and bringing it out again. But there's a flurry of listings coming onto the market, so more buyers are being satisfied by that product being exposed onto the market. But you really, if you're a seller, you can no longer overshoot the market. You've got to list it certainly realistically, and then I'm still recommending holding back on offers for a period of time to expose it ultimately to all the buyers that might have some interest.
Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK. And just to go back those figures, Joan, you said 94% of the homes went for over asking. And did you really say 140 average over?
Yes, 140,322 is the average over list price that offers went in March. April is a different story. I think we're going to see certainly a record number of sales because there's more coming on the market. But because there's more on the market, there's more for buyers to pick from. Mm-hmm. There's more for them to choose from. So there's not as many offers when you're looking at multiple offer situations. I'm seeing maybe 2 or 3, sometimes 6, whereas in January we were looking at 12 to 15 offers on any given house because there was nothing on the market. So real shift in the market, and I think some individuals really trying to capitalize on this shifting market before it sort of settles out and becomes a little bit more balanced market.
Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK, our real estate expert from LePage, Triland Realty, 519-672-9880, joanball.com, the website address. And those 6% of the homes that sold that did not go for over asking, Joan, would you suspect off the top of your mind that it was because of a pricing issue then?
It may be. It may be a number of things. Okay. Sometimes individuals, and I'm certainly seeing that, are overshooting the market. So they're settling out for something that may not be quite over list price, maybe a little bit lower. I'm seeing some with conditions as well. So, that's an interesting new scenario that we haven't seen for quite a while.
I'll ask you this, too, and I was reading in the Toronto Sun last weekend, and it was an article written by a home inspector, and he was, talking about the positives and benefits for getting your home and getting a home inspection before purchasing, and talking about the recent market flurry, and not only in this market but others, where people were not getting home inspections done ahead of purchasing or ahead of even putting an offer in. Are you seeing those creep back in a little more, Joan?
Not necessarily. I'm seeing the odd person still needing to do their inspection or feeling comfortable that that's what their process should involve. But really, when it gets down to offer day, having no conditions on your offer, if you're competing, that is the must. And unfortunately, it doesn't really present itself as a fair scenario for most buyers. But if the seller is willing to allow you to go in and do a home inspection, the difficulty is for some individuals, they may be submitting 7 to 10 offers before they secure something.
Right.
So you don't want to be paying for 7 to 10 home inspections. So, individuals are really trying to be as responsible as possible, but also recognize the reality of the present market.
So as a potential buyer, you would almost just leave that out as far as a condition goes because you might get turned away due to that request.
Well, that's the reality.
Wow.
The reality is that a firm offer, maybe for less money, would certainly be more attractive to a seller than an offer with a condition that slows up that progress. They would rather have a sold sign on the front lawn, and in some cases they will accept a little less if it's firm. However, obviously we're seeing the vast majority, 94% of sales are going over list price. So the market is not soft, it's just transitioning. And I think the interest rates will really bring now a flurry of buyers securing as many buyers as possible wanting to secure so they can capitalize on their guaranteed rate and close before that rate really takes effect.
Got it. Joan Ball on Ask the Experts from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. If you are looking to buy or sell your home, you want to give the expert, our number one real estate expert, a call at 519-672-9880. JoanBall.com, the website address. That is what I am on right now, Joan. You have a beautiful home listed in Wortley. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
I do. It's a fabulous house, and I really, really enjoy being a part of the process when it's properties like this. It's 108 Marley Place, prime Old South, a beautiful home with some of the original character and charm, but the updates certainly, provide for a bright interior. Some skylights have been added. It's got granite countertop island in the kitchen, California shutters, hardwood floors, the original stained glass windows in the front, a large formal dining room and living room, main floor bedroom, as well as a master suite on the second floor, 2 full bathrooms, main floor laundry, concrete drive, full front porch, covered front porch, the Old South front porch that they always loved, with a skylight in it as well. This house really has it all, and it's $649,900, and we will be taking offers on Tuesday. We didn't want to disrupt anybody over the Easter long weekend, but we will be taking offers on Tuesday.
That is amazing. Yeah. Wow, that shows so well. And the big deck out on the back there, Joan, too, for people who want to entertain.
Absolutely. And a private yard. It's so quiet back there. I was back there showing it to somebody the other day and just standing there, and it was so quiet in the evening. It was lovely. And it has a separate shed, large deck that's been updated, roof's been updated, furnace and AC have been updated. So it is really move-in ready.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you can find it on Joan's website, joanball.com. Right now, if you click under My Listings, and it's listed for $649,900 and taking offers Tuesday. Joan, what's the process there?
So the offers will be registered by a buyer or an agent by 2 o'clock. And that means simply that they indicate that they have an offer or they forward their offer, and there is written documentation that you can do that. And then I will advise everybody as to how many offers at that time and they'll have until 4 o'clock to revise their offer, resubmit their offer, or indicate that their original offer will stand as is, and then I will meet with the sellers that evening.
Do potential buyers ever get the opportunity, Joan, to know what, and say they are the ultimately the purchaser of the home, do they ever find out what the next offer is behind theirs?
No, they don't in the present market and with the present outline of how real estate works.
Okay.
It is a closed bidding process. However, Korea, the Canadian Real Estate Association, is certainly opening some of that up. So at the next program, I'll really bring everybody up to date about all of that.
Wow. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290. CJBK, our real estate expert from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan, 519-672-9880. Here on Ask the Experts. We'll return with more right after these. And welcome back to Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK with our real estate expert, Joan Ball. And I ask you this every now and again, Joan, how many years have you been on the radio here on CJBK as our resident real estate expert? Do you know offhand?
Oh, gee, I think since about 1998.
Is that right?
I think it was 1998, which seems like yesterday, but a while ago. Yes, I've been doing this for some time.
My, oh my, the amount of questions you have answered, pretty amazing, which we'll get one out of the way here right now. Clint and Barb want to know how properties are looking at offers. It seems like some wait a few days and some don't.
Yeah, really good question. And this is a changing format in the real estate industry in the last few years where we did start holding back on offers. So just so everybody is aware that there is a protocol and there is a process. And there is also a disciplinary committee and a standards committee at the real estate board that is run by volunteers, members, but volunteers, and obviously the staff assist with this. So there is expected that all members be advised of certain processes and how it's going to run. So we do have forms. Form 244 is the form that we use to indicate the seller's instructions to their agent, to their listing agent, as far as how it's going to operate. Because in the old days, we just put a property on the market, and as the offers came in, which were, not as readily available as certainly the present market, we would just sit down with the sellers and look at that offer and often sign it back and maybe go back and forth a couple of times before we came perhaps to an accepted offer that everybody loved and could live with. Nowadays, in many cases, there is a hold off on offers for a period of time, and usually that's 5 to 7 days. And at that point, when a listing agent is signing with the seller, those legal instructions need to be laid out if they are going to be holding off on offers. And it needs to be laid out in writing. And I'm really proud of the real estate board and the members at B that, now it really is something that needs to be clearly outlined in the listing. Now, having said that, every seller has the right to do what they want with their property. So if they change their mind, they can do that. But they also need to advise everybody who's been notified that it's going one direction and they're going to hold off on offers, that they have received something and they're going to look at something. So they need to give reasonable, and, reasonable has a definition for some people one way and other people another way, but reasonable is a few hours at least. Let those individuals know that they have received what we call as a preemptive offer or a bully offer. And sometimes their agreement and their indication and instructions, the seller's indication and instructions to the listing agent are, okay, I want to hold off on offers, but if something really good, a strong offer comes in, I want to know about it. And they have the right to do so. But it really should be, and it is supposed to be, indicated in writing, clearly outlined to all the members, and therefore, you really get a sense of, okay, am I okay to wait till Saturday or Sunday or whatever, because they're not going to be looking at offers until then, or do I need to really rush on this? I always tell my buyers, let's get to the property as soon as possible, and if you have any interest, we're going to draft something up so we're ready to go, because things can shift and change on a dime. So that's how you're best able to respond to anything you might want.
Excellent. Thanks to Clinton Barb. Great question, as Joan pointed out. Joan Ball from Royal LePage, Triland Realty. You can reach Joan at 519-672-9880, joanball.com, the website address. Was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, Joan, that recently sold their home outside of the city. It was in the 1.5 range and million, and they didn't have it so that, like you say, when you're taking offers on a certain day, it was just sort of put on the market. And what the fella said that sold the home, he said the first 4 to 5 days maybe they noticed that there was quite a flurry of activity, but after that it just settled right down. Is that kind of typical? Once it goes on the market, you can expect some flurry of activity and then it'll settle down a bit?
Absolutely. And I look at it as if, I always, me, I'm big on metaphors. So if there's a new iPhone, everybody's going to rush out and get the new iPhone. And once that sort of gets satisfied with the people who all buy the new iPhone, then it settles out a bit. But, you really need to recognize it's the same thing as the real estate market, especially in this kind of a market. If there's something in the price range that comes on the market, those serious buyers are going to get out and take a look at it right away, and then it'll sort of settle down a bit. So I always say to people, the first 2-3 days, just move out because you're going to be inundated. And, and it really does, it does come to fruition in many cases. And I think that that's still true. It's just whether come offer date, will there be offers or will there be a multitude of offers?
Interesting you say that about moving out. Is that a suggestion you would make to some people, Joan, to just vacate the home for a period of days, 3-4 days?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That makes sense.
Because if showings start at 9 and they end at 9, that's 12 hours. You better find somewhere to go.
Right.
And it's not too much fun to be sitting in the driveway and then you come home and you can't make a mess.
Right.
So absolutely. In this market, if you have the luxury or the ability to do so, do so.
Joan Ball on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK. Just curious about mindset of sellers sometimes, Joan. When you are showing a home to a potential buyer, do you have any idea maybe the seller is driving by every now and again to see who is coming into their home?
I'm too busy to pay attention.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm too busy to pay attention.
Good answer. Joan Ball on Ask the Experts. One more before we take our next break, Joan, and it's from Orion. He is wondering when he should contact a lawyer as he is looking at buying a property.
So I think it's really important to know who you're going to use. And certainly in my home buyer package, I have a list of real estate lawyers. And do remember, you wouldn't go to a brain surgeon for heart surgery. So go to a real estate lawyer for real estate law. You can use any lawyer, but believe me, you'll be paying extra to get them up to date on what's going on in real estate if they agree to do that. But most firms will have a real estate lawyer. And then just, call around to a few, find out, what they charge, what you're comfortable with, get a better sense of who you want to use. But really, you don't need to enlist that lawyer's active participation until you've got an accepted offer. Sometimes you will if you're looking at a condo and you want them to review the status certificate, if that's available, or if you're applying for that. So many listings of condos right now in this market will recruit an up-to-date status certificate for buyers to have their lawyers review. So that's an exception there, but most of the time it's once the offer is accepted, then our office would forward all the paperwork to your lawyer, and then the lawyer would contact you when papers need to be signed.
Joan Ball, our real estate expert from Royal LePage, Triland Realty, 519-672-9880. JoanBall.com, the website address. We're back with more right after these. Welcome back to Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK. Our real estate expert, Joan Ball, with us from LePage, Triland Realty. Check out the website. And if you don't mind, Joan, just a few minutes left here on the program, going back to what we discussed earlier with the overview of your home in Old South. A beautiful one it is.
It's 108 Marley Place. I am going to do a virtual open house on Facebook, so people can patch into that. So, and it is a beautiful 1.5-story concrete drive, full front porch with skylight, a master suite on the second floor with a bathroom and a little office area as well. Updated windows. It's got a main floor bedroom as well, a den off the kitchen, and the kitchen is lovely with a granite a countertop on the island, main floor laundry, 2 full bathrooms, formal dining room, living room at $650.
Excellent. And an award-winning neighborhood too, is it not?
It is, and you can sit on the front porch and see over to the garden on the green, and it's just a quick walk to Wortley Village. It's very conveniently located and great neighbors.
That's amazing. You can check it out online at joanball.com, and offers are being accepted on Tuesday, so keep that in mind. One more here before we wrap up, and kind of touched on it earlier on in the program, Joan, but for those who didn't hear the start, Frank wonders where you might see the market going in 2023 with changes to the interest rate.
So I do think that, this is the highest increase in interest in the last 20 years. So just so people get some perspective, the government is looking at the inflation and everything that's happening, and as far as foreign investors, and I mean absentee foreign investors, and so shifting everything to help Canadians and accommodate the market so that it slows down from the fevered pitch it was taking on. I think there is going to be a shift back, whether it will balance out to where it's as fair for the buyers as it is for the sellers by 2023. I'm not sure. It will really depend on how many properties come onto the market and how many buyers are satisfied over that period of time, and then obviously are no longer on the market looking. So I'm not convinced that by 2023 it will shift dramatically, but I think it will have a shift, and I'm feeling the transition starting to take place now.
Do you have those numbers, Joan, and sorry to put you on the spot, that you gave out earlier in the program about the effect that it will have on people with a $500,000 mortgage, call it that, with the interest rates creeping up a bit?
Absolutely. So if you have a $500,000 mortgage, with the extra half a point, you're looking at an extra $120 a month. Now, remember, we had a 0.25% blip up previously in the year, so that overall would increase your mortgage rate by $182 a month. So, it has an impact. There's no doubt about it. But individuals are really, many buyers will get a locked-in rate for a period of time. So that's why I think we're starting to see a real flurry of buyers wanting to secure something now so they can take advantage of the lower rate before it goes into effect, the higher rate.
Excellent advice as always. Joan Ball from LePage, Triland Realty, 519-672-9880. Again, the website, joanball.com. Click under My Listing for her beautiful listing in Old South, Wortley Village. Just a wonderful home there. And offers will be accepted on Tuesday. Again, what time Tuesday, Joan?
2:00 are registered offers.
Excellent. Joan Ball on Newstalk 1290 CJBK. Joan, thank you as always. I know you're very busy. And have yourself a great weekend. We'll talk again in a couple of weeks.
You as well. Thank you, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you. Joan Ball here on Ask the Experts on Newstalk 1290 CJBK.